Well, let's talk about some other, let's say, health misconceptions or misconceptions in fitness and nutrition. Then, spot reduction. Some of the vegan food that's cooked, that's cooked and prepared, by an expert chef is absolutely unbelievable. Anyway,
Oh, it's delicious, but tend to not be very healthy vegan unless you know how to be. So just because it's got vegan on the pack, it doesn't mean it's healthier. In fact, it's usually worse because they add different fats and salts and stuff to try and if they got a vegan burger, you got to make it taste like a burger. So there's a lot of fake stuff and a lot of fat and salt to try and create that flavour.
I do love a vegan burger.
So yeah, you need to kind of know how to be vegan. Yeah, mate, because I was rushing out. It was early this morning. I forgot to bring my book. I'll send you one. I've got a Sunday Times best-selling book just came out December the 28th. Eat Your Way to a Six-Pack. And in there,
no abdominal exercises necessary. Just eating.
But 90% of your results come from the food. So you can train 100 times a week. If you don't sort the food out, your abs aren't going to show.
And I was going to say, and obviously I said that, in jest, but I guess what the reality is that probably most of us have abs under there anyway. Yeah. You just need to be able to see them.
You're using your abs all the time just to get up out of bed. You're doing, if you knew how many sit-ups you probably did a day, just getting in and out of upper seats and out of bed and walking to the car and getting in the car and out of the car, So most people have got a set of abs. It's just the fat's covering it. But I'll send you the book, and you can, and in there you can adapt any of the recipes. I mean, there's vegan recipes in there, lots, but excuse me, you can adapt any of them. We have a like for like rule, which is if you don't like you eat poultry now, right? Anyway, so it doesn't matter. But we don't have red meat either, so it's made for you.
Oh, none of the recipes.
So therefore, you don't even have to worry about changing anything. But if you were vegan, you didn't like turkey, you can switch it for tofu. It's that easy. So but vegan, so it's quite a minefield really, and people think they see vegan on it, assume it's a healthy piece of food, but in general, mostly it's not.
Well, let's talk about some other, let's say, health misconceptions or misconceptions in fitness and nutrition. Then, spot reduction.
Yeah, you can't do it. There's no such thing. Yeah, the only thing I can tell you is the bottom part of your tummy. Going all the way around, the tire, the centre of gravity, that's going to be the last thing to go. You never see someone with a six-pack go from the bottom up. It'll be the top two, next two when you're getting a six-pack. And by the way, just going to talk about six-pack, the program's called the Six-Pack Revolution. It's not really about getting a six-pack. My biggest demographic is 35 to 65-year-old men and women, as I said, going from a size 18 dress to a 10 in one wave, no saggy skin, because most people are going to be eating more on my program as well. So we feed and nourish you to fat loss. We don't starve or malnourish you. So spot reduction, you can't do it. You can't tell where the fat's coming off first, but I can probably tell you just where it's going to be last.
What if you get something that you can just never get rid of? I mean, do you get that, like stubborn bits that would, even when you've got it in shape, there's just something that will just never go?
Well, it will probably go eventually, but it just depends how many years you want to put into that. When I had an 8-pack once, I still had love handles. And I just had to accept, where else am I? What am I doing? Apart from going and get them cut off or sucked off.
You didn't do a bit of lipo?
No, I didn't do it. It entered my head, but I didn't do it. It kind of would go against a little bit probably of what I preach, but it did enter my head, if I'm honest with you, yeah. And another myth as well is, as I said to you earlier, this calorie deficit thing. The best way to lose fat is on the most calories possible. Let me explain what I mean by that as well. So let's say your maintenance calories per day were 2,500, let's just say. You would lose more fat on 2,250 than you would on 1,000 calories. Faster, more sustainable, healthier obviously, and to your benefit of your whole body and mind, rather than malnourishing yourself at the 1,000, very slow process of losing fat. So I can actually give you an anecdotal example.
But does it depend surely on what the calories are that you're eating, or what exercise or something you're doing at the same time that you're eating it?
Well, I'll go on both of those, right? Let's tell you exactly what I mean. So we had a lady who on the program, before she came to Six-Pack was she did 850 calories a day for 365 days. She lost a stone in a month, The next 11 months, she only lost 2 pounds. Her hair fell out. She couldn't get out of bed. She couldn't remember what she was doing an hour before. She was having all sorts of medical problems, like parts of her were failing. Obviously her bloods were all over, like nothing. She basically was killing herself and wasn't losing the fat or the weight. So even on the right food, 1,000 calories a day isn't enough. But on the 2,250, for example, or the 2,000, it doesn't really matter. There's a nice range you can sit between. When it's the right food, it's actually quite a lot of food, actually. And the right balance of food on the plate at the time, because that's important as well. You want to always have your balance of your proteins, your carbs, and your fats every time you eat, if you can. Now, I'm not saying that having a banana on its own is never going to happen again in the car. But if you wanted to be super perfect, you would add your Greek yogurt and your almonds to that banana. That would be a better, more balanced snack.
Better than just having the banana on its own?
Yeah, much better. Because then you're balancing the snack. If you imagine a set of scales, the old-fashioned ones with a chain, if you get a banana, you put it on, it's there, isn't it?
Right.
So you want to balance it. So you want to put your protein and your fats on the other side, for example.
And you can't just have them later?
No, so let me explain that as well. This comes to the hormone thing now. So if I was going to have a bowl of rice at midday today, let's just say, I would have an insulin spike, and your body is supposed to spike insulin every time you eat. That's normal, that's fine. But what you don't want is these big lifts and crashes. Like when you have a pizza, you feel great for 2 minutes and you want to go to bed.
Yep, I had a pizza last night.
Yeah, well, you know that feeling? You have they call it a food coma, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't want that. So if I'd have had this a palm size and thickness piece of chicken today at midday with my handful of rice that was stir fried in a teaspoon of olive oil, any spices, ginger, garlic, squeeze of lemon, whatever I want. This isn't quite true, but this is just for the analogy purpose. You'd have an insulin spike and a nice sort of straight line. It's not straight, but you get my point. And we don't have these big crashes like if you're having a deep pan pizza. So what you eat at the time is important. If I'd have ate the rice on its own and the chicken later, for example, that's going to happen. That's going to have a different reaction in my body. And that's why, and you'll get people on social media that, oh, shut up, you plum. You probably know some of them that talk, just calorie deficit. That's all that matters. I had a guy actually arguing with me that 900 calories of donuts is the same as 900 calories of fish and veg. Actually, and he was a fitness professional, arguing with me. Actually threatened to come over from America and sort me out. Like,
he doesn't know you're a karate expert.
He didn't dive into that one too much. But it's like, can you imagine that mentality is out there teaching others that want to live on donuts that it's okay and they're going to be fine. It's baffling, isn't it?
And I guess so talking about bad things like donuts, all carbs and all fats are bad.
No, not at all. The 6-bar revolution is full of carbs, but we use nutritious carbohydrates. And as I said to you, it doesn't mean you can't ever have a donut again or a piece of chocolate or a pint of lager, but we need to reset the way that body and mind works first. Invest that little bit amount of time. Then when you go and have that donut, you bat it off.
And when you have it, so obviously I presume you don't have the donut during the 75 days.
Correct.
That happen after. How do you pay for that donut? Do you just accept it and absorb it, or do you go, I've just had a donut, I'm going to go and do an extra 5,000 steps?
You can't out-train the diet anyway, really. And
but I guess what I'm saying is you're already training normally, you're already eating good. This is just a little extra bit of naughtiness. So can you, and I don't know, it's a 300 calorie donut. Can you go and do 300 calories on the treadmill just to try and pay for it?
Well, what I teach people is, as I say, you can party twice a week. So those other 5 days, you are eating in balance, eating how the human body should be fed, gaining your credit. For then you can have these things and not worry about it. If you want to move forward, then you only party once a week. If you want to move forward slowly. If you want to move forward fast, we don't party. We do 7 days a week. So the 5 and 2 situation is where your credit's in the 5, so you can play with the 2. So that's how you kind of do that.